Good morning, everybody. This is Megan here. I am going to start my series with a very simple project for those who just opened up their machine, plugged it in, downloaded the Silhouette Studio, and wants to know what to do next. So this is a very simple project, and I hope you have some fun with it. So what we're going to do is beginner monogram. This is going to be just your very basic circle monogram, which is still very popular. I prefer things more modern. I'm not into the whole cursive monogram anyways. So this is how I prefer my monograms. And I like the little addition. I'm going to show you how to do the monogram. I'm going to show you how to add a name in the middle, cut it, as well as maybe add a little filigree around it. Now, do remember that this is very basic. I am still a newbie as it is with my silhouette. I just know a few things that I thought might be able to help some of you do your very first project. So you're not just sitting there going, okay, well, now what? Okay, because I know how the system can be confusing sometimes. I do not have the designer edition. I just have the regular basic free edition. And I didn't go through any training or anything. I just pushed buttons, and that's what I have to recommend to you guys. Put everything you can in there. Design whatever you want. You don't have to cut anything you design. Just push buttons. Figure out what every button does. If something goes haywire, click the back button, which happens to be right here. Okay, the undo button. Okay, so that is my best. I may call things not by the proper name. I may call things a doohickey or this thingamajig. Do realize though, like I said, this is for basic beginners, just to get a feel of the system, and to have a little fun. I can be a little sarcastic, so if I rub you the wrong way, I do apologize. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so what we're going to go ahead and start is, first and foremost, we need this font. Now, some of y'all professionals are going to say, but Megan, I don't need font. Why don't you tell me how to do it myself? Okay, great. That's fine, but that's for another one. Now, I know how to do that, and I can subtract it in the circle and then change the points and make your own little circle font. But why make it so hard on yourself in the beginning when you could just kind of do it the cheater way? There's already font out there that does that. Don't feel ashamed. Why make things harder? If it's going to get you the same process, whatever. So don't try to teach yourself the hardcore method yet. Just go by basics right now. So basics, we're going to cheat and we're going to go find this font. So this font I got is at defont.com, and get to know defont.com. That is your best friend. It is super fun. I have spent hours looking through the hundreds and hundreds of files of everything. These dingbats over here are all pictures. You can even cut these files. That's awesome. Okay. Do have to be careful. Some of them, right here, it'll tell you it is good for, these are for personal use only. Do know there is a difference. Just because you sell one thing doesn't mean it's not personal use. Sometimes personal use and commercial is after a certain amount. Let's say, if you do, 20, sell 20 or 200 even, or something along those lines. So you can kind of do research on that. I don't know all the ins and outs of those. I will figure it out. I'll do some research on that. But just realize that that's what some of these are. You have to kind of read it and find out what you're allowed to use. But in the meantime, just have fun with Defont, okay? So I'm going to go up here and I'm just going to click on monograms and search. Now look at all these amazing, crazy, fancy stuff. Great, right? All right, well, why don't I just take these circle ones right here? Look how easy that is. But I do know some of you newbies were saying, well, how do I get it to say my initials? Unless your name is, Michael Marie Montgomery, or I don't know, that's not going to help you, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to download this font. Click download. Okay, and see this down here? Click on it. And now I already have it downloaded, so it's going to look a little different. This pops up. Now, some of these fonts have a long list of things. Find the one that has this little piece of paper and an A. Okay? Click on it. and you're going to click install. Okay, when you click install, it'll say installing. This, I already have it, so I'm just going to click no. But once it's installed, then you can get out of it. Okay, once you do that, then you shut down your Silhouette program, bring it back up, and it should automatically have your font in there, in this little list here. Okay, easy peasy, right? So now what we're going to go ahead and do is make that. So now that we have the font, I created a new workspace here by using that little button. It'll give you a new one. Now if you want, see how mine's kind of a 12 by 24? It's because I like having more grid space to work on in my design space. If you want to change it, you can go to these page settings right here, design page settings, and right here you can change that to, let's see, 12 by 12, which is your normal. Okay, and then you could also add a cutting mat, your 12 by 12 cutting mat. So it just all depends on you, but like I said, I usually just add a little bit so I have more grid space to work on. Okay, so here, let's go ahead and get our font. Type it up, find the one you want, all right, and then it's going to be Megan Villarreal Nadine. Some people aren't aware that your monograms, your middle initial is the middle. I mean, your last name is the middle one, and I can't stand it. I don't know why. I know that's the rules of monograms, but it drives me crazy. But that's the rules. My name is Megan Nadine Villarreal, but this is how it goes. So now we're going to figure out, what do we do? How do we get that so the V's in the middle, the N's at the end, right? So what we're going to do is you're going to left click your mouse, drag it, and make sure you have everything in there, okay? So then you're going to come to this M. This is your modify button, okay? This is going to have lots of fun stuff in it. You'll get to know all this later. Go down, I want you to click on make compound path. So make, and then release. When you do that, each one of these are now going to have its own box. You see that? Click out of it, and now I can then click on each one and delete what I don't want. I don't want my M. This one, I don't need this one, I don't need this, I don't need this. Okay, so there you go. Now don't change the size on these, because right now these are all the perfect size. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the V and I'm going to move it over. If you want to create a circle and kind of like, so that way you know it's perfect, you can. But just eyeball it. It's not rocket science, really. All right, there you go. Okay, so that looks pretty darn close, right? So now I don't want this to move at all. Well, it's going to drive me crazy if it's not a little bit higher. It probably looks exactly the same it was, but it made me feel better for moving it. Okay, so then you're going to left click, drag, okay, and then make again. So now it's one whole thing, right? Now you can't do that, okay? So then go ahead and just make it bigger if you want. And I like to, while this is highlighted like this, I like to color it in so that I know what I'm working with a little bit better. There you go. You could pick any color. It doesn't really matter. Just pick a color. And then, great, there's my monogram. I could end it right then and there, print that, good to go. Or if I like to make it a little bit more fancy, I can do that myself. One way to make it fancy is to make that cut down the middle and adding my name. So what I would do that is, see this little shank down here? It looks like a little, it's a knife, but it looks like a shank. So just grab it, okay, and this is going to be your cut. Now, one, you could cut right down the middle and then move it apart from each other, but then it's going to elongate your circle and it won't be a circle anymore. It'll be like, I don't know, an oval or whatever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut in two parts so that way I can delete some of the middle, and that way it's not as elongated. So I'm going to click, pull, click. There you go. And then right here I'm going to click, pull, click, and make sure you try to get it even. Now be careful though, because if, let's say I did a little bit higher, this is going to be gone, so I'm going to lose some of my M, but it's okay. for this purpose. I probably would have gone right under this so that I didn't lose this part of the M, but it's fine. So anyways, come back here to your arrow, grab it. Now what I'm going to do is this, again, you could probably do this an easier way. I'm just doing it this way. I'm just going to grab these pieces and I'm going to delete them. Click them, delete, click them, delete, using my keys on my keyboard. Look at that. All right, so I want to pull it down just a little bit more. So I'm going to left click and drag, because all these are separate again because we cut them. And I'm going to go to my modify and make. Then I'm going to pull it down. Oops, I moved it a little bit. Okay, there. All right, so now it's a little bit more. So yes, it's not a full circle, but it works, okay? So here, I like having that line. It kind of is a finishing touch to it, and you see those with those bunnies and things like that. I like that. There's, again, other ways that you could do this. This is my way. I like to click this little rounded rectangle guy. Okay, I come to the end right here, and I make a little, so you can make it big, whatever. I make this rounded rectangle, and I make it as wide as I want it, but making sure all of the ends of each letter are covered. I don't want it up here where some of this is hanging down, because you'll see it. I want it covered. Okay, and then there you go. And then I'm going to do the same thing at the bottom. And use your grid lines on your workspace to kind of make sure things are even. I'm not doing it perfect. Now you don't want it up here. You don't want it. You want these ends of these letters to be covered. There you go. Okay, now you see that? Now, I want this all to be black. I want these to be all one piece, right? So I'm going to come back here, grab my pointer, okay? I'm going to click drag, grab all of it, and then click weld. Now, each of these pieces, anything that it's touching is all welded together, okay? So now I have this great looking monogram so far. So now I want to add my name. Okay, so then I'm going to do, why do I always do that? Hold on. Okay, so let's do Megan. Oh, it's all big, whatever. I'll fix it in a second. Megan Villarreal. Okay, Megan Nadine Villarreal. All right, so I'm going to get these on the right line. Click on it, double click, pull this out. There you go. And now I'm going to make it into a lot smaller. Again, there's easier ways to do it, but whatever. Whoops. Smaller. Look at my V's all messed up. I didn't capitalize the V. Okay. I need to make it a little skinnier. And you can use any font for this. I like clean, sharp lines with my modern, so these plain fonts are fine. You can make cursive using one of the fonts you find in DeFont, on DeFont. I don't like my G to touch my lines. You could either move this down, well, I could do that. Move it down a little bit. There you go. There you go. All right, so then grab it. I'm going to color it. Awesome. There you go. Now that in itself is a great little monogram. You could print that out if you'd like and put that on a mug or whatever. But another thing you could do is put a little filigree around it, something a little fancy. Okay. So I went to Google. Well, I actually didn't. I went to this thing called picmonkey.com and made this. They have great fonts and they have great little clip arts you can use to make things with. I'll go over that another time, but regardless, I got a JPEG of a little filigree I like, and I saved it to my computer. So now I'm going to put it in here. So I'm going to go to File and Merge, okay? And I'm going to find my little filigree that I like. There you go, right there. See that one? It's just a JPEG. It's not a SVG or a anything. So just grab it. And now it's huge because the file's a big file. So I'm just going to make it smaller. Okay, so now I want to trace it real quick. I'm going to grab this little button right here. See the trace window, the yellow with the butterfly? Click select trace. I'm going to drag and cover all the parts that I want traced. And if I were to leave it like this, it would not only cut right here, but it would cut inside. It would cut all around that yellow. I want the whole thing cut as one piece. So I'm going to change the high pass filter until it gets to a point that I like it. Now with this one, it's easy. It's black and white, so it's just going to fill it up. If you had different colors or if it was a grainy photo or something, it's not going to work as nicely. And that's where you have your tracing problems. But regardless, just this is simple. Now it's all filled down like I want, and then I'm going to click trace. Okay? Now I'm going to take the image because we don't need it, and I'm going to move it over. Now I want to color it because it's easier to work with. There you go. All right, so now here's my cut piece. Love it. All right, doesn't fit, so I'm going to make it bigger. All right, that looks good. I want to make it a little bit bigger, a little better. Now remember, my circle wasn't a perfect circle because I pulled it down a little bit. I didn't cut enough. Doesn't really matter. You can't really tell, but if you really wanted to, you could change this to make it a little bit elongated as well to kind of fit with it. Just depends how OCD you are about things. There you go. Awesome. So I could print that on my black vinyl or white vinyl or whatever color vinyl I want. Or if I wanted to do separate colors, I could do so as well. And if you want to see what it looks like, you can click on the little guy there, change it up. Let's say I wanted to use my mint vinyl with, let's say, my white. And then my black, or, you know, something along those lines. And then to cut them, there are other ways to cut them separately. You can leave them like this. And to layer it, or to make that little box so everything's lined up. This is not a hard layering piece. I would just do this by visualizing it, so you don't really have to fret. We can go over the layering for more detailed pieces later, but it's really not that hard. This way is easy. So let's say I just wanted to cut this up. What you could do is, I'm going to do the MVN first. So what I would do is simply just move it off the space. Completely, but don't ever change sizes or anything because you'll mess it up. So I'm going to grab these as the two pieces because I noticed they were still separate. Drag it, go to modify and make. Okay, so then I would grab it, pull it up to the corner, and then I could cut from there. Okay, and then when it's done cutting, I can move it over, grab my mint vinyl, cut that, move it over, get my black vinyl, cut something like that. Then I could layer them by visualizing it using my transfer tape. Again, that might be harder for some more detailed images, but this isn't very hard monogram to layer together, so I would just, you know, do it by hand. But any case, that was easy peasy. I'm sure you guys know how to cut yet, and if you don't, because I recommended this to be your first project, to cut it, let's say we were cutting this piece, you would come over here, see this little doohickey guy right here, it's your little blade, click it, okay, go down in your tool 1. Now, I do not use my automatic blade, I can't stand that thing, sorry Silhouette, yeah, I don't like it, okay, it never works for me, so I just use my ratchet blade, the little black one. I use my automatic blade for like some, you know, cardstock, or like, honestly, I don't use it. I'm just trying to be helpful, but no, I don't even use it. Okay, so I'm going to click on vinyl, because that's what I'm going to use, 651. I just click Silhouette brand, but honestly, it works for my 651, whatever. I go ahead and click it, and this gives you a recommended what blade or what level it should be at. Now, everyone is going to use something maybe a little different. They'll use your recommended, or you might know how your blade works itself. There are sheets out there that kind of give you ideas of how things work, what blade settings you should use. Great, use those. But to be honest, you may figure out slowly what works for you, doesn't work for others. Blades dull differently. I know what my blade can do at the moment. So I usually click that, and then I personally, I keep, or no, you have to click it, but you switch your blade around to fit the 1, make sure it's at a 1, and then I personally up my thickness one or two depending on, but that's just because of my blade. And then when that's done, I will usually test cut. So with it loaded, I click test cut and I just make sure, and I especially do that every time I switch between mediums like vinyl, HTV, or even something like cardstock or stiffened fabric, because something may have happened to your blade. It may have dulled and you didn't realize it, and what setting you normally use may not work. So go ahead and test cut. As long as it comes out nicely, then go ahead and click send a silhouette and it'll start printing that out. And that's it. It's really simple. Like I said, to do this kind of like card decal, you will need some transfer tape. I just use the Dollar Tree version, contact paper, easy peasy. I don't get fancy with my other stuff. The reason why it has like the dark red lines right now is because it's showing you where it's gonna cut. You can remove those. Let's say you want to like fix some things. And then you're all done. So I just hope that helps. I'm sorry if I sounded kind of stupid. Like I said, I just wanted to give those who have no knowledge whatsoever and just want to try their first little technique out, to show their husband that they can do something and feel like they spent the money on their machine for a reason. Or if that was just me, I don't know. That's what I did. See, look, honey, look what I did. Look at all the amazing things I can do. And he's like, oh, great, hon. Although he doesn't care, regardless, but whatever. But anyways, I hope this works out for you. And if you're able to make your own little monogram and you weren't able before, please share with me your projects. Or if you were able to add some fun filigrees or something, please share with me and show me what you were able to create. Okay, so I will work on some more advanced tutorials today, but I just wanted to start with something simple. So you guys have a wonderful day.